After reading this chapter, boy, man, Gaara is a character that really, really scares me. Absolutely terrifies me because of his powers. Naruto number 59, The Tragedy of the Sand. Holy shit. Wow, the lesson learned here is do not mess with Gaara. Wow. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome and crushing tale of Naruto. Our last chapter saw us with, it was really, it was the Gaara show is really what it was. Gaara wound up going and facing off against someone from the Village of Rain over there. I forget his name, actually. And the chapter ended with him attempting to use these 1,000 needles that were, you know, chakra-induced needles, chakra-controlled needles, to attack and kill Gaara. And at the end, we saw that Gaara had some sort of shield that he had around him that looked almost like a cocoon that was around him that kept the needles from actually piercing that. And then he was like, now it's my turn, right? And that's how the chapter left off. And that's right where things pick up. And man, I tell you, this dude is vicious, man. He is going to be somebody to watch out for. And then we find out, too, in this chapter that it seems like these three are siblings. It seems like him and Tamari and Kankuro? Yeah, Kankuro, I guess. I guess they're siblings. At least that's what it seems like. That's what was alluded to in the chapter. Anyway, but Gaara, we find out that the cool-looking thing he's got on his back, it actually looks almost like two canisters attached to one another that's strapped to his back, that it actually holds sand in it. And this dude, like, his power, he has complete control and manipulation over the sand, any sand that's around, as well as obviously what's in there. And he can create this shield. Basically, there's no frontal assault that can take him out, right? Because they're talking about these needles and they should be able to pierce 5mm thick, you know, case hardened steel and all this other crap, and they can't get through this wall of sand. And then they also note that this wall of sand, as it's coming towards him, it kind of like smells of blood, you know. He's got like this bloodlust. But it's cool because this ability, the way it's explained, is that it's an unconscious thing. It just he just has mastery over it. Like, he doesn't even have to like consciously think about it. Like, something comes at him and that shit just boom, just protects him, you know. Very, very cool the way it was explained. Very cool the way it was portrayed. So then he goes and he's just like, you know, gripping Sand Coffin or something along those lines. I think it was called the Coffin of Sand or something like that. And basically just starts engulfing, you know, this guy from the Village of Rain in sand, right? The guy who attacked him. And as he does it, he winds up going and pulling one of these dude's parasols out of the, you know, which is like basically just like an umbrella. You know, that's what a parasol is. Anyway, so he pulls this thing out, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing with the parasol? You know, is he going to stab him? And the guy's talking, he's like, oh, I can't get free, and this and that, still trying to talk shit, and he's just like, stop, otherwise I'll seal off your mouth and this and that, you know? So then he goes and he winds up, and I thought this was pretty hardcore, so as he goes and comes at him, and Gaara goes and puts him into this bad boy over here, right? Then he goes and he, as he's talking to him, you know, and you can just sort of see like this sort of rage crazy look in his eyes. He goes and takes his hand and just goes and, you know, clutched and makes a fist. And then he goes and it says right here, imploding sand funeral. And you just see this dude, just, the sand just crushes him and just completely destroys his body. And then, as if not to add insult to injury, he goes and uses the parasol, because remember from the video that Anko watched, you know, she was amazed not only that they got there that quickly in 97 minutes, but that Gaara was unscathed, wasn't dirty, bloody, nothing, right? Well, we see here, because he used his enemy's own umbrella to go and cover him from the shit rain of blood that would have come down on him after performing that move. So this dude's bloodlust is unmatched, though, because then in the next page, right, the other ones are like, whoa, dude, we don't have nothing to do with that. Please, just take our scroll and let us live, right? But he's in, like, bloodlust rage mode, man, and he just goes and pulls the same move on them and just, you know, crushes them, whatever, too. And then he goes in Team 8 that had kind of happened upon them, that Akamaru, the dog, can kind of sense people's chakra levels and was trying to warn them in the last chapter, and they thought that it was the big guy from the Village of Rain. Akamaru was actually trying to warn them about Gaara, that he was the hardcore one, right? And as they're trying to go and retreat and whatnot, Gaara, I think, can like sense them, and his bloodlust is just super enraged. And they're like, come on, we got the scroll. This is the one we need. Let's go, you know. And that's what Kankuro tells him. You know, he says, we've got the right scroll. Let's go to the tower and be done with this and get out of here, right? And he's just like, no, you know, I am not sated yet. And I'm like, oh Jesus, this dude is crazy. He is a couple sandwiches shy of a good picnic right now, right? I mean, he's nuts, you know, and he's got like that blood rust. Almost reminds me of like Hisoka from like Hunter x Hunter or whatever, you know, that sort of just that bloodlust, like I have to kill something now. So even when Kankuro goes to like stop him, he's like, I don't take orders from you, and he's like, you know, for once in your life, listen to, and this is where the sibling thing came. He's like, for once in your life, listen to your older brother, you know, and he's just like, I don't even look at you as siblings, you know, and if you get in my way, I'll kill you, and it's just basically just off the fucking rails, you know, on the crazy train. So Tamari goes and is able to actually calm him down. She's like, please calm down. I'm like a sister to you. Come on, you know. So that's where I didn't know if they actually are siblings or if they're just saying that they are. Obviously, the Gaara and Kankuro are brothers, you know, but I don't know because Tamari's just like, well, yeah, I'm like a sister to you, right? She winds up eventually getting him to calm down a little bit and kind of release that sort of bloodlust rage thing that he has going on. But man, this dude is hardcore. This guy is something else. And boy, is this shit bloody, you know. And that's one thing that I have to say that, and listen, I don't want people to take this the wrong way either, because you get fans of both series and they go and they freak out and everything like that when you say one thing about one or the other. But the one thing that I've noticed thus far in a series like this, Hunter x Hunter as well, even Toriko, is that the bloodshed seems to be a bit more. They don't seem to have as much of a problem going and killing somebody off, a character, whether it's a minor character or major character or whatever, you know. And that is one of the only flaws that I really see in One Piece, because it just seems like there's never, I'm not going to get into a big discussion about it here, this is a Naruto review, but for me, you don't need to constantly go and off people just to kill them, you know, just to go and show that nobody's safe or anything like that. Some, you know, some shows, some manga, some anime, maybe you do, you know. Attack on Titan's one of those where it seems like they kill people off and nobody's really ever safe, but I think that's just kind of comes with the territory of that sort of desolate world that they're in. But as far as it goes with this, I really enjoy that, you know, that Kishimoto doesn't have a problem with going and killing off a character, you know, if need be. Because if he didn't kill these characters off, Gaara would still be feared, in my mind, by me. But now, having seen that he just goes and has taken it to the next level, and even when these two gave up and begged for their life, he still went into this blood rage and killed them. For me, it carries more weight now, and I find him to be more of an imposing, threatening foe. So that was really the point that I wanted to make and demonstrate, is that sometimes actually having a sacrifice or a loss of life can show you the lengths at which a character, you know, the character that did the killing is actually willing to go, and makes you respect and kind of fear that character and their power, you know, even more so. So hopefully everybody gets what I'm trying to say there, and you know, doesn't get it twisted around and get into a war about, you know, about this series or that series, because it's really not. It's only, from my perspective and my limited engagement in the 4, 5, 6 series that I've read or watched, what I've seen and some of the differences amongst them. So, but I believe that you do sometimes need to have that sacrifice or that death to kind of go and again, so you can fear these certain characters. And right now, I fear a character like Gaara, right? I look at him and I think, holy shit, this guy is, you know? So my chapter question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is what are your thoughts on Gaara and just him being as brutal as he was, and whether you think it's unnecessary or not, but him just annihilating this cell from the village of Rain, and again, I mean, he didn't really need to kill the two. He didn't really need to kill any of them. He probably could have just kind of trapped them all, and they're taking their scroll and left. But this bloodlust, you know, what are your thoughts on Gaara and just him showing no mercy whatsoever, man? Definitely scares me. But I want to hear what your thoughts are, brothers and sisters, in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We're going to look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Nation.
Boobies! Oh, remember to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and my other channel.